Hi everyone, it's Joe. A day late on this video. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and over the weekend we've been cooped up, sort of cooped up, because it's been snowing here in the Pacific Northwest. Apparently, it hasn't snowed this much in a while, but it has, and it was really good to see snow. Haven't seen snow for the first time. I keep looking out the window. If you keep seeing my eyes never go that way, it's because the snow's outside and it's melting. But we probably got about 4 to 5 inches of snow, and so I got to go out and shovel some snow and then take the kids out to go sledding. There's a little hill in one of our neighborhoods nearby, and when we went there, you wouldn't know it, but there were like tons of people there. But on the way there, you just couldn't tell because it's set way back in the neighborhood, so you couldn't hear anything. Like lots of kids outside and playing, but as soon as we showed up, it was like the place to be. Anyways, let's talk about what happened this week. All right, so this was my last week in shift, and this week's topic was how to ace your interview. We had an industry mentor talk with someone who works at Amazon. She's a program manager, and she gave us stories about her transition from the Air Force, and how she went from being an airman to being a civilian working as a U.S. government employee. Then after that, she had an itch, like she wanted to do more because being a government employee wasn't something like was exciting enough for her. So she applied for Amazon, and she had really good retelling of her experience, and talked about like different things that you can do, such as finding employee resource groups, or as they call it in Amazon, an affinity group. So these are people, I don't know what to call it. I guess for her, it was just finding like a veterans group and joining them and talking about things, especially when you're talking to people that come from different backgrounds and they don't know what you're talking about all the time. But if you can connect with people that know what you're talking about, then it makes working easier. Let's see what else. So that was industry mentor talk. Anyway, so that was the first night. The next night, so our last night was our final night together, and we did mock interviews with each other, and we tried to use the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. If you keep to this format, then you should definitely have a good story to tell. You talked about a specific task that you did, how like what was involved in it, how did you solve a problem, or how did you make money, or how did you save time and resources, and then the result is like, and at the end, you end up saving like having 15 people to come in and work on the weekend or something like that. The mock interviews was really good. We had a good time. So they had I think 4 or 5 questions for us. So in my group, we're sitting there, we're going through the questions, and my facilitator Lindsay went through the first question, and she asked 2 people, to one person be the interviewer and the other person be the interviewee, and they went through the motions, and they asked the questions. It was really good. She did the second one. Then when it came to me, I was the third person. I'm sitting there. I know what the third person is because she's just going down the list and stuff. But I was like, she asked me this question. Let me see if I can find the question. Okay, let's see. Back to me. Okay, so I'm looking at my notes for that day, and the question I was expecting was, what are your salary expectations for this role? Nope, that wasn't the question she asked me. In fact, it was, tell me about a time where you messed up or failed and how did you handle it? And I was just like, I was looking at her face, and she had that like planning look on her face, the one where, like, hi, I threw you a curveball. Yeah, that's that's what I had to deal with. I was like, oh geez, what is this? I said, oh, thank you for the question. Can I please have a moment to think about this? And in fact, let me write down the question that you said, because I already had the questions in front of me, but this was a new one, so I had to look at it and talk about it too. So anyway, so that was shift. Yeah, shift was great. In fact, I got a training certificate somewhere. I'm going to put it somewhere here. I got a training certificate saying that I graduated. So yay for that. Let's see what else happened. Okay, so with Hiring Our Heroes, put this camera over here like this. Oh, there we go. With Hiring Our Heroes, I got a phone call from Rob Comer. He's our regional representative, who's the one who's helping us out find a fellowship, corporate fellowship or something. And I had my 15-minute phone conversation with him, and he was gathering information to set up my Hiring Our Heroes profile so that they can share it with companies. When I talked about what jobs and areas, I talked about what jobs and areas I'm interested in. The second question was location. So I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest, and so Seattle to Portland is pretty much the area that's covered around here. But I told him that I wanted to look at San Antonio also. So he said he can do that. He can put down that I'm looking in those two areas, San Antonio and Seattle. He said the thing is, when you put yourself up saying that you want to be in two different zones, that means the companies in both zones are going to look at you, and that means that you might get like a whole bunch of interviews if they're interested in you. So I'll have to take those in and weigh those options when they come in, I guess. The corporate fellowship program. So I think I showed this slide before. These are the companies that he initially showed me. So on my LinkedIn feed, there was a Hiring Our Heroes video that was posted. Coincidentally, it was being put on by Lindsay, who was one of my shift leaders. She talked about the different locations that they had. And so looking at this right here, you can see like, wow, that's a lot of companies that they work with. But in the video clip, there was like a lot more. So I want to show you that right now. So here, let me just resize my face a little bit. Here we go. There we go. All right, so here you can see a whole bunch of companies, ranging from actual companies to like um, what are these, city governments and stuff too, like the city of Henderson. I guess that would be Henderson, Nevada, which is outside of Las Vegas. So this is the first page. Second page, there's a whole bunch more companies. Some banks like Pentagon Federal Credit Union, oil companies like Phillips 66, Kellogg's. If you're really into wanting to work with Kellogg's, Home Depot, Hitachi Rail, a whole bunch here. And going on to the last page, here's the last page also. And so let me see. I'm looking at this one right here, USAA. They're in San Antonio, but they do have a lot of remote. I have to watch what I say. Remote working, but I meant to say teleworking, because remote working in 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 Hiring Our Heroes means that you are applying at a remote location from where you are. So if I'm up here in Seattle and I find a job, a fellowship position in San Antonio, then that would be remote because it's remote from where I am. However, these companies like USAA has a huge teleworking presence. So even though the company is in San Antonio, I may not have to move to San Antonio. I could probably do it here, and they would just I would just do it from home. Let's go back to the internet. Actually, let me talk about this first. So earlier this week, I got this LinkedIn message from Scott Rather. He's a guy at Scott Air Force Base that helps people on their transitions and stuff. He's a transition coach. And he sent a message to me. He says, Joe, I'm about to record a training video. Do you mind if I use your profile as an example? I won't be brutal. I was like, yeah, sure. That's fine. Go ahead, Scott. Sure enough, a couple days later, he made a video. and there I am, my profile. What I didn't know was that he was going to pair me up against one of my favorite LinkedIn people, Nadia Newkirk. She's a very positive presence on LinkedIn. So if you want someone to follow that has a lot of great things to talk about, especially about human resources, because that's what she does, then follow Nadia Newkirk. All right, let's take a look at Scott's post featuring me.
Which I know. It seems like everything is starting with Clubhouse these days. But when I was building my profile on there, I was only given two options.
Let's see.
Of adding a couple of profiles. I have permission by both of them to go through them, and then we will show you how to do it and add something.
Hey, there's me. See?
What he could do is he could have some text in here as well. A little bit of a call to action.
Put some words in my banner.
website.
Let's see what else he says.
Do that. Her call to action is
See how
reach out to
Nadia
me and I will
has
give you
words in
more
her.
guidance
Not only
on
that,
how
she hosts like a weekly
Go back to Joe's.
no, don't go back to me right now. Let's go back to Nadia. She has she hosts like a weekly like get together every week for about 90 minutes, 6 to 7:30. And she did it for to help other human resources professionals out there like connect and reach out to others and just talk about the business of human resources. She established this weekly roundup to have other human resources people sit and talk with each other. Anyways, he goes on and I'm just going to glance over this. Let's see.
He could be using this area to promote his brand even a little bit more. Instead, it's almost like he's promoting the brand of somebody else.
Yeah, so that right there, I was just getting onto LinkedIn and I was following this guy Michael Quinn. Michael Quinn puts out like really good stuff to help transitioning veterans, and so I had nothing else, but I did this featured part. I'm not trying to defend myself here. I'm just talking about like because Michael Quinn talked about it, and I was like, oh, let me do that. And since I was taking that course at that seminar at the time, I posted it. Then I tried out the featured portion, and so that's how that got there. As he went along and he looked at hers, and so see how Nadia has like a lot of pictures, and so he's like, "Hey, Joe, you got to do that too." So, anyways, it was really good. I'm gonna call Scott up. I'll probably see if I can make some time to talk with him too, and go over this. But I did go over. Actually, we'll just go over here. Some of the things that he said. So when I put down my education, the logos for these schools weren't showing up, and they did at first. I'm pretty sure they did, but I guess as the schools updated their logos, the logos went away. So I went ahead and just edited it and saved it, and then boom, the logos appeared again. This he says trim this up, do bulleted stuff to talk about my accomplishments while I was doing it. And just so you guys can see, my featured section has pictures. So over the past few days, I've been making posts with pictures because posting with pictures is, the insta way to do stuff, I guess. And just so you know what it looks like, when you make a post, you can throw a picture in there, and then so I threw this picture. Actually, I made this picture first, and I put it in there. So when it shows up in someone's feed, what they'll see is like the first 2 or 3 lines, and then they'll see the picture. So it's like, hey, what's the story behind this picture? And so I guess that's what you want to do. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a really strong Instagram game. I just post a random picture every now and then. Anyways. All right. So a couple weeks ago, I attended. No, it was probably about a week and a half ago. I guess it's been about 8 or 9 days now. I attended this Microsoft online training for the PL 900 exam, Microsoft Power Platform Fundamentals, and there was like a little offer. If you attended the online training, then they will give you a voucher for the exam. So here's the voucher. So the training was 3 hours long, like I said. But what you want to do is, now that you've taken the training, go through the learning modules here, and it's 12 modules altogether. And I think it said it should take you about 5 hours and 3 minutes to complete. And you go through. So I just started it, and that timeline is just basically like what they think it should take you to get through each portion of these modules. Everything's 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, so it all adds up. And then you get points through Microsoft Learning. I don't know what these points are. I guess I can look that up too. But, and then the points go up here. I guess it's your learning level. It's like you might get an achievement or something like on Xbox Live. Well, not on Xbox Live, but like how you earn achievements in video games and stuff. You can get achievements in training through Microsoft. So I did the training, and I got email notification. Oh, I didn't get email notification, so I logged onto here, and then I saw that I didn't have just one, but I had 2 vouchers for the same exam. So guess what? I can try once, and if I don't do well, I can try it again. Oh, sorry about that. Anyways, that is that. Back to me. So that's that. I guess to finish it up, just one more thing from LinkedIn. A couple days ago, we had my high school, Les American School in Switzerland. We had a trip down memory lane where some of my old teachers and even one of my classmates, Richard here, um, went over some photographs from the time that we were students there back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, and early 2000s. So it was an alumni get together event. It was really cool. Um, I didn't think about it at the time, but my school actually has sort of like it's like a LinkedIn. It's an alumni page, and it sort of works like LinkedIn and Facebook together. And we can go there and we can post pictures and messages. But it actually has like a network connection tool where you can find mentors in industry or something like that. So the way it's supposed to work is if there are new alumni, so students who recently graduated from high school and they're looking to go into certain industries, they should sign up onto this alumni portal, and then look for one of us who have graduated. And so like a lot of us have made ourselves open to mentoring and stuff too. Yeah, so just wrapping this up, I guess. I can't think of anything else. um, that was that. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Oh, I do have something to talk about for next week's video because like I said, today is Monday, and something actually happened today, but I'll include that for next week's video. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll look forward to talking about what happens this week next week. All right, have a good one. Bye.